Hi, this is Jagan Kharod, a production chemical engineer by profession, going to continue our today's topic, pump operations. Now, definition of pump. A pump is a device used to move fluids such as liquid, gases, or slurries. A pump displays a volume by physical or mechanical action. Pump fall into three major groups: direct lift, displacement, and gravity pump. The name describes method for moving a fluid. Types: positive displacement pump. A positive displacement pump causes a fluid to move by trapping a fixed amount it when forcing the trapped volume into the discharge pipe. Or a positive displacement pump has an expanding cavity on the suction side and decreasing cavity on the discharge side. Liquid flow into the pump as cavity on the suction side expand and liquid flow out the discharge as the cavity collapse. The volume is constant given each cycle of operation. A positive displacement pump can be further classified according the mechanism used to move the fluid. Now, rotary type: internal, gear, screw, shuttle block, flexible van or sliding van, circumferential piston, helical, twisted root or liquid ring, vacuum pump. Positive displacement rotary pump are pumps that move fluid using the principle of rotation. The vacuum created by the rotation of the pump capture and draw into the liquid. Rotary pumps are very efficient because they naturally remove air from the line, eliminate the need of bleed the air from the line manually. Positive displacement rotary pump also have their weakness because of the nature of pump. The clearance between rotating pump and the outer edge must be very close, requiring that the pump rotate at a slow, steady speed. Rotary pump are operate higher speed. The fluid will cause erosion. Rotary pump that experience with erosion eventually show sign enlarge clearance which allow liquid to slip through the detract from the efficiency of the pump. Positive displacement rotary pump can be grouped into three main types. Gear pump. They are simplest type of rotary pump consisting two gears laid out side by side. Their teeth amassed. The gear turn away from each other, creating a current that traps fluid between the teeth on the gear and the outer casing, eventually releasing the fluid on the discharge side. The pump as teeth mass and go around again. Many small teeth maintain a constant flow of fluid, while fewer larger teeth create a tendency for a pump to discharge fluid in salt pulsating gases. Screw pump are more complicated type of rotary pump, featuring two or three screw are opposing thread, that is, screw turn clockwise and the other counterclockwise. The screw are each mounted on shaft that run parallel to each other. The shaft also have gear on them that mesh with each other in order to turn the shaft together and keep everything in place. The turning of screw and consequently the shaft to which they are mounted draw the fluid through the pump. As with the other form of rotary pump, the clearance between moving part and pump casing is minimal. Moving van pump are third type of rotary pump consisting cylindrical rotor encased in a similar shape housing as the rotor turn. The van trap fluid between the rotor and the casing drawing the fluid through the pump. Reciprocating type. For example, the piston or diaphragm pump, the positive displacement pump, have an expanding cavity on the suction side the decreasing cavity on the discharge side, liquid flow in the pump as the cavity on the suction side expand and the liquid flow out of the discharge as cavity collapse. The volume is constant given each cycle of operation. The positive displacement pump can be divided into two main classes: reciprocating, rotary. The positive displacement principle apply whether the pump is a rotary lobe pump, progressive cavity pump, rotary gear pump, piston pump, diaphragm pump, screw pump, gear pump, hydraulic pump, vane pump, regenerative pump, peristatic pump. The positive displacement pump, unlike centrifugal or rotodynamic pump, will produce the same flow at a given speed, the rotation per minute, no matter what is the discharge pressure. A positive displacement pump are constant flow machine. A positive displacement pump must be operated against a closed valve on discharge side of the pump because it has no shut-off head like centrifugal pump. A positive displacement pump operating against a closed discharge valve will continue to produce flow until the pressure in the discharge line there increase until the line burst or the pump is severely damaged or both. A relief safety valve on discharge side. The positive displacement pump is therefore necessary. Valve can internal or external. The pump manufacturer normally has option to supply internal relief valve. An internal valve should be generated. Only use safety precaution. An external relief valve, the discharge line with return line back to the suction line or supply tank recontainment. The reciprocating pump. Typical reciprocating pump are plunger pump, diaphragm pump. A plunger pump consists of cylinder with a reciprocating plunger in it, suction and discharge valve. They are mounted in the head of cylinder. In the suction stroke, the plunger retract the suction valve, open suction fluid into cylinder. In the forward stroke, the plunger pushes the liquid out of discharge valve with only one cylinder. The fluid flow varies between maximum flow when the plunger moves through the position, the zero flow when the plunger is at end position. A lot of energy is wasted when the fluid accelerates in the piping system. Vibration and water hammer may be serious problem. In general, they are compensated for using two or more cylinders not working in phase with each other. In diaphragm pump, the plunger pressurized hydraulic oil which is used to flex a diaphragm in the pumping cylinder. Diaphragm valves are used to pump hazardous and toxic fluid. Example, the piston displacement pump is a common hand soap pump. Now gear pump. This use two mesh gear rotating in a closely fitted casing. Fluid is pumped around the outer periphery by using trap-in tooth spaces. It does not travel back on the mesh part since the teeth mesh closely in center. Widely used car engine oil pump. It is also used various hydraulic power packs. Now, progressive cavity pump. Widely used. The pumping difficult material such as sewage, sludge, contaminant with large particles. This pump consists helical shape rotor about 10 times long which can visualize a central diameter, typically curved spiral wounded around thickness half through course really it from casting. This shaft fits inside heavy duty rubber sleeve or wall thickness typically as rotated. Fluid is gradually forced up the rubber sleeve. Such pump can develop very high pressure at quite low volume. Now, root type pump. The low pulsation rate and gentle performance of this root type positive displacement pump is achieved due to combination of two 90 angle helical twisted rotor and triangular shaped sealing line configuration both at the point the suction and point of discharge, the design produces a continuous and non-vorticulous flow with volume, high capacity industrial air compressor have been designed to employ this principle as well. Supercharger use the internal combustion engine. Even a brand civil defense siren, the Federal Signal Corporation Thunderbolt. Now, peristatic pump. A peristatic pump is a type of positive displacement pump used to pumping variety of fluid. The fluid is contained with a flexible tube fitted inside circular pump. Through liner peristatic pump have been made a rotor with number of reboiler shoes for wiper attached the external circumferential compressor. The flexible tube as rotor turn part of tube under compression, those forcing the fluid to be pumped move through tube. Additional, the tube open natural state after the passing of the fluid flow introduce the pump. This process called peristatic and used in many biological systems such as gastrointestinal tract. Now reciprocating time pump. Reciprocating pump are those which causes the fluid to move using one or more oscillate piston, plunger, membrane. Reciprocating type pump require a system, suction and discharge valve, ensure the fluid move positive direction. Pump in this category range having simplex, one cylinder or in other cases for cylinder mode. Most reciprocating type pump are duplex or triplex cylinder. Furthermore, there be either single acting, independent suction and discharge stroke or double acting suction. Discharge in both directions. The pump can powered by air, steam through belt driven engine or motor. This type of pump was used extensively early days steam propulsion as boiler feed water pump. Reciprocating pump are now typically used. The pumping highly viscous fluid including concrete and heavy oil in special application demanding low flow rate against high resistance. Compressed air power double diaphragm pump. One of the modern applications, the positive displacement diaphragm pump is compressed air power double diaphragm pump. Run compressor air. These pump are intrinsically safe by design all through manufacture. Certified model comply with industrial regulation commonly seen in all area industry, shipping to processing, sandpiper, Wilden pump, ARO. They are generally the brand and they are relatively inexpensive, can be used almost any duty from pumping water out of the pumping hydrochloric acid and square storage depend on how pump is manufactured, elastomer body construction. Now it is impulse pump, hydraulic ram pump. A hydraulic ram is a water pump, power pump, hydropower, a function as hydraulic transform. They take water at one hydraulic head pressure and flow rate and output water of higher hydraulic head and lower flow rate. The device utilizes the water hammer effect, the developed pressure that allow portion of the input water that power the pump to be lifted a point higher than where the water originally started. The hydraulic ram is sometimes used the remote area. There is both sources of low head hydropower and a need pumping water to desalination higher the elevation sources. The situation, the ram is often useful since require no outside source of power other than kinetic energy flowing water. Velocity pump. Now, rotodynamic pump and dynamic pump are a type of velocity pump in which kinetic energy is added fluid by increasing the flow velocity. The increase is energy converted to gain a potential energy when the velocity is reduced prior or flow exit the pump into discharge pipe. The conversion of kinetic energy pressure can be explained first law of thermodynamics, or more specifically Bernoulli's principle. Dynamic pump can further subdivided according mean which velocity gain achieved. The type of pump have number of characteristic, continuous energy, conversion of added energy to increases kinetic energy, increasing in velocity, conversion increases velocity, kinetic energy to increases in pressure head. One particular difference between dynamic and positive displacement pump is their ability to operate closed valve condition. Positive displacement pump physically displace the fluid, hence closing a valve downstream of a positive displacement pump will result in a continual build-up pressure resulting mechanical failure. Either pipeline or pump, dynamic pump, different, they can safety operated under closed valve condition. Okay guys, this is a part A of the types of pump operation. In part B pump, we are seeing centrifugal pump and more is application and so many other things. Still then, goodbye. Do take good care of yourself.